Hi, and welcome back to the Triggered Newscast. Today's March 28th, 2019. And tonight I was going to bring up Kamala Harris. So I know a lot of people don't know much about her, especially on the conservative side. I haven't really been following her that much because, let's face it, I don't really care. I'm more of a Trump supporter. But I'm making a content piece with a few other contributors, and it's going to be on the Let's Be Frank channel. And so tonight I wanted to go over some of Kamala Harris's 9 most controversial policies. I'm going to go ahead and link these up in the description after the video, so feel free to check them out. But I'm just going to highlight a few of the most controversial things or for her strongest policy positions. So she supports climate change, she supports the Paris Climate Accord, and she believes action is needed to combat climate change. So as California's Attorney General, she launched an investigation into ExxonMobil in 2016 after reports that the oil and gas giant lied for decades about the risks of climate change. She's criticized President Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. And additionally, she's opposed the Trump administration's proposal to reverse the Obama-era fuel efficiency standards for cars and trucks. She voted against repealing regulations on methane emissions and has a 100% lifetime score from the League of Conservation Voters, which tracks lawmaking, voting records, and energy on environmental issues. For education, she believes in free tuition at 4-year public colleges for most Americans, create national pre-kindergarten program. So this would be funded by the fee on Wall Street firms of a 5% per stock trade. And she supports expanding Head Start and Early Head Start and would create a national universal pre-kindergarten, though she has not offered specifics for her plan. Guns? She wants to ban assault weapons and sale of high-capacity magazines, support laws blocking some advertising by gun stores. A self-described good marksman, Harris is also a vocal supporter of increased gun control. She co-sponsored a bill to ban assault weapons and the sale of high-capacity magazines. She defined those which can fire more than 10 rounds without reloading. As California's Attorney General, Harris defended a state law that blocked gun dealers from displaying signs and show or describe handguns. For medical care, she wants to move to universal government-run health care or medical for all. So she's real in line with the Bernie Sanders campaign. In fact, from several of the articles I've read, she's being most closely compared to Bernie Sanders. So the bill that she wants to propose would pay for a system in part with 6.2% charges on employers, a 2.2% fee on most families, and that would vary at some income levels. Increased marginal tax rates of incomes of $250,000 and higher, and increased tax rates on capital gains, and increased estate tax for the wealthiest. Harris has also introduced bills to increase access to mental health care and to address high maternal mortality rates for Black women. Immigration and border security. She wants to re-examine ICE. She supports DACA and opposes a border wall. Regarding U.S. immigration and customs enforcement, Harrison believes it's time to re-examine the entire agency. And it looks like during the 2020 rival sends, Elizabeth Warren and Kristen Gillard are explicitly calling for ICE to be abolished. Harrison was a vocal opponent last year for the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy, but that led to thousands of migrant children being separated from their families on the southwest border, which was a continuation of the Obama-era program. Harris co-sponsored the Reunite Act, a legislation that aimed to reunite families separated at the border. On social issues, abortion and same-sex marriage, she believes they should be legal. Transgender people should use the bathroom of their choice. States need not necessarily pay for sexual reassignment surgery. Well, I'm glad she doesn't want us to pay for it. A supporter of abortion rights, Harris voted against a bill that would limit abortions in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy. As California's state attorney general, she launched an investigation of anti-abortion activist David Dalson. whose undercover videos later sparked charges of breaking privacy laws. His supporters said Harris's relationship with Planned Parenthood was a conflict of interest. On gay rights, Harris refused to defend California's law banning same-sex marriage. While she was Attorney General, she believed same-sex marriage should be legal and filed a court brief supporting transgender people's position that they should have access to the bathrooms of their choice. On tax cuts, she wants to reverse some measures in the tax codes and Jobs Act, instead create a new direct tax breaks for the middle and lower classes. Harris has proposed the Lift the Middle Class Act, which would give $3,000 refundable tax credit to individuals making $50,000 or less and $6,000 for married couples earning under $100,000. She would pay for the multi-trillion-dollar plan by eliminating some tax cuts put in place by the Republican-sponsored Tax Cuts and Jobs Act by creating a new tax or fee on some bank and financial institutions. So one of her biggest policy points was that she opposed the TPP, or the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and the Trump administration tariffs on the trade policy. So as a Senate candidate in 2016, Harris opposed to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPP, arguing that it proposed trade deal with 11 Asian countries and didn't go through enough to protect workers and environmental regulations. Trump had pulled out of this shortly after he got into office, but Harris has opposed the Trump administration's tariffs and escalating trade dispute with China. However, as we all know, these trade tariffs and these different policies that Trump has put into play have been doing things for foreign policy that we've never seen before. In Afghanistan, she wants a political solution to end the war, to bring troops home. After a trip to Afghanistan last month, Harris said she supports a political solution to the war that would allow U.S. troops to return home. She has not taken a public position on Trump's planned U.S. troop withdrawals from Afghanistan and Syria. However, it sounds like she's in absolute agreement. And that leads us to the next article by the Jacobin, and it was written by Banco Martinic. And this one really lays out how Kamala Harris has actually had a really strong record of voting both Republican and Democratic, being on both sides of the fence. And this is probably why she, besides Bernie Sanders, is going to be the most dangerous adversary for the Trump administration. Even though he's the incumbent, it is going to be a hard-fought election, and there's going to be foul play, false flags, who knows what else. I'm not saying unequivocally I know that there will be, but I'm just, restating history and following a pattern. So this article lays into a few of the things. I'm not going to go through this one as detailed, but it has a lot of different points on how Kamala Harris is also extremely conservative, and that her voting policy has really been moderate and in line with a lot of what Trump's administration has proposed. So hopefully you guys check out the thorough content piece that I'm going to make on this. My goal tonight was not necessarily to bring you the full content, but I'm going to be doing a really good edit. It's going to go on the Let's Be Frank channel. And for those of you who are stopping in, maybe haven't seen the videos yet, I have updated the website, and there's a complete forum for you guys to use. You guys can use BB codes, HTML, drop links, embed videos. I really want you guys to use that as an opportunity to give me tips, to show some leads for me, some new content that I can try and touch on, maybe just some other things that you want to share with us and our community. And hopefully you guys can help build it up into more than just a YouTube chat. I know YouTube right now has already stopped 3 or 4 messages from coming through right now in this chat. And one thing I plan to never do here on any of the comments or on the website specifically is censor you guys. So if you say something that gets you in legal trouble, that's on you. But I believe that everyone has the right to say whatever they want, however foolish it may be. So I'll drop the website down in the description if it isn't already. Check that out. Be looking down in the forums too. I also posted 2 extra threads for profane news and for Let's Be Frank. So that video content is going to be coming out this weekend. I'm going to dig much deeper into Kamala Harris. I'm going to try and get as much into her voting policy, into her other policy positions. I know that she kind of rose out of nowhere, and a lot of us don't really know that much about her. So if you guys want to know more, check back this weekend, and we'll see you again on the next Triggered Livecast.